Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He is a fellow podcaster, QHHT practitioner, helping high achieving men overcome fear, heal trauma, and lead with a soul aligned confidence, as well as a debut author and the author of the book, The Enemy Within, Fear as Our Greatest Opponent, no other than Mr. Andrew F. Wilson. Welcome, Mr. Andrew on Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Oh, thank you very much for having me. First of all, Daniel. Recently I also got certification in neuralistic programming, so I'm also a NLP coach. So that is something new that the audience doesn't know, and I'm also an unconscious mind coach. So I work with the unconscious mind.
And Mr. Andrew, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Hoping for more and more empowering books like this to come, as well as the coaching itself. So today, let's talk about the your debut book, which is The Enemy Within. What inspired you to write this book?
Well, inspired me is I just started journaling and I got really into journaling. And one day I came across this course, which was a self publishing course. And it motivated me to start to write. And this is the end result of that self publishing course.
Indeed. And thank you again for sharing your wisdom and knowledge to the world. You frame fear as the enemy within. How is this internal enemy more dangerous and insidious than any external opponent we might face?
Well, fear is always our greatest opponent because we don't understand fear. We think fear is like something that we're afraid of, but fear is internal. It can be a form of trauma, it can be a form of anger, rage, sadness, shame, guilt. It comes in all forms. There's two types of emotions in the world. There's love and fear. And the reason why I thought fear was my enemy was because it haunted me my entire life. And in my story, I talk about how I was bullied. I was bullied by my peers. I was bullied by my teachers. But it turns out that the story that I was writing was actually the story that I chose to happen because the one thing I've learned in life is life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. So, and in 2021, I lost my mother, and that was the awakening moment for me to change and to stop running from my fear and to turn it into my superpower. And that's what I did. And so, as I wrote this book, I started to talk about all the tools and techniques I've learned along the way. Like, I learned that money was the root of all evil, but actually, money's actually energy. And there's nothing evil about energy. It's the intent that we have with money that makes it evil. And it's not the actual money itself. And then I've also learned about relationships and how we put ourselves in these situations and we kind of want to be the victim and we want to stay in this relationship. But in the end, if we want to grow and achieve something more sustainable and fulfilling, we have to know that there are a cause and effect. And when you get realize that you have a cause and effect, then you can remove yourself from the victim island and get into solution city and start to build yourself from within. And that during that time I was writing this book, I was building myself from within. I was working on taking all that trauma that I endured and embodying it and basically learning to love my trauma and learn to not consider it the enemy within. And is fear is my fear was my greatest opponent, but I've conquered that now. And a lot of people that have read this book, it's helped them to get over their fears as well. So That was really the main motivator to write this book, was to get it out. And then once I got it out, then I shared my story with people, and I gave them the tools and techniques that they can use now to get their enemy within from out of them, and to learn to love it instead of fear it.
Mr. Andrew, fear rarely appears as a pure terror. What are the most common subtle disguises it wears in our daily lives, like procrastination, perfectionism, or cynicism, and how can we learn to spot them?
Well, it's basically just understanding that being uncomfortable is actually a form of growth. And when we become uncomfortable, we automatically assume we are the victim. But it's actually growth when you get to be in that uncomfortable state. So all the trials and like tribulations that I went through with my fear and my trauma, it was actually trying to build me into something more stronger, and a more open and compassionate person. But I took it as the wrong way. And a lot of us take it the wrong ways because, one, we don't know how to talk about our feelings. Two, we don't know how to understand our feelings because we weren't taught this. I had to learn this the hard way. I mean, I had to lose something for me to actually finally wake up. And even then, when people lose something in life, whether it be a parent, whether it be a job, they still play the victim, and they still think that this is all happening to me. No, it's happening for me because it's pushing me in the direction that I'm meant to be in. I mean, if I hadn't had my trauma, I never would have wrote this book. I never would have started a podcast. I never would have became a coach. I'd be still doing the same job I was doing before, working for the railway or working in the oil and gas sector. And don't get me wrong, like those were great experiences, but it's not something that I would continue to want to do for the rest of my life when I can help people instead. And that's basically what it is. It's like when you understand that fear is actually motivating you to do something else, something better for yourself and to help others, you kind of learn to embody it and not really fear it anymore, and learn to love it instead.
How does our enemy within use the illusion of control, the frantic attempts to manage every outcome to actually keep us trapped and powerless?
Well, I mean, we don't really use our mind for anything. We kind of just go with the rat race, or we doom scroll, or we watch the news, and we get ourselves trapped in that uh, basically trauma triangle. And then we stay in that trauma triangle and we can't get out because we don't allow ourselves to grow. We allow ourselves to not grow and stay in one area and not want to achieve something in life. We would just want to stay where we're at because we're comfortable. We feel it's safe. Instead of taking risk, we think it's better to just stay here on this side of the island and not want to grow, not want to achieve something, and not want to take chances, because we also weren't told this. We were told to go to school, go to college, get a job, retire, and then basically die. Like that's basically our programming from birth till now. And a lot of people don't are comfortable in that way, and they don't want to step out of their comfort zone and try something that's going to actually push them into a better direction. Instead, we would rather stay stuck. And that's the biggest thing that I've noticed with fear, because I was stuck for years. Like, I mean, it took me till 2021 for me to understand that I needed to change who I was. And the only reason I did was because I lost my mother. If I hadn't lost my mother, I'd still be stuck. I'd still be in the same position as I was before. I'd still probably be in the relationship that I was in that was completely toxic. And we both tried, but we both couldn't do it. And in the end, like, that's where we all are. We're stuck. We don't allow ourselves to get out and stuck. We allow ourselves to stay in the same position because we're comfortable. We're seeing money coming in, where our bills are being paid. That's what keeps us stuck in fear. It's not the fact that we actually want to achieve something. It's the fact that we are so comfortable in the same situation because it's something new. It's not something foreign to us. And when you get in that mindset of where it's like, oh, I'm just going to go to work every day, get paid, and then basically drink myself or smoke my brains out just to numb the fact that I'm actually unhappy at the fact that fear has been the one that's been controlling me. But I don't want to take care of that, or I don't want to get any help for it. I just want to stay in the same position because I'm comfortable and this is safe for me.
This is a critical distinction, Mr. Andrew. How can we tell the difference between paralyzing voice or fear and the protective wise whisper of our intuition?
Well, I mean, first of all, you got to learn to trust your intuition. And a lot of people, when their mind starts to talk to them, they automatically think they're crazy for one. So then they go to a doctor and the doctor prescribes them this and that because they think, oh, I got depression or I'm bipolar. You're not bipolar. You have intuition. Your brain is talking to you. It's trying to tell you it wants you to change, it wants you to heal. It's like when we get ill, it's not the fact that we're getting ill, it's the fact that our body's like, you need to rest, you need to chill. Like our body will even break our bones if we don't listen to it. Like the understanding that our body's alive and you got to treat it like you would treat a car. You maintain a car all the time. Well, you got to maintain your body. You got to eat healthy. You got to meditate. You got to work out. You got to drink water. You got to be out in nature, not sitting in front of your phone all the time or eating fast food every single day. Like, I mean, you have to take care of your body because your body is the only body you have. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of people just are comfortable with the idea of living off fast food and not even cooking. You know, the amount of people nowadays that don't even cook, it's mind-boggling. I mean, myself, I had to teach myself how to cook, but when you realize you start putting good things into your body, then you kind of take away all the fear of everything because it also messes with your mind. The food that we eat, like, and the water that we drink even is like full of fluoride, so you even got to be careful with that. So it's all really designed for us to fail. But when you realize you don't want to fail and you want to be an achiever, you want to grow, then you can pull yourself out of any situation. And like in my line of work, trigger is a good thing, and trigger means you're growing. So if you're going to get triggered by something, that's a good thing because get comfortable being uncomfortable because that's the only way you grow.
Mr. Andrew, how does fear function as a primitive yet powerful storyteller in our minds, and what is the favorite, most limiting narrative to tell?
I mean, fear always plays the back of our minds because your fear of, oh, okay, well, I'm going to job and I'm going to do this presentation, but then something gets in the back of your mind saying, oh, what if I freeze? What if I screw up? What if I forget this? Like, you're always going to have those limiting beliefs. And like unconsciously, we have to be aware of our thoughts. Like, our body is like 90% unconscious and 10% conscious. The second we understand how to work with our body unconsciously, the 10% doesn't matter. But you also could be mindful of your thoughts. Like your unconscious mind is like a 2-year old. So everything you take, say you want something in life, if you're putting any doubt on that, that is the reality you are going to get. Like perception is projecting, and you were projecting this fear onto yourself just by the way you're thinking. You have to be mindful of your thoughts. You have to think, learn to love yourself unconditionally. When you love yourself unconditionally, there's nothing that can stop you because you realize that you're healing from within. And when you love yourself, there's no way that a limiting belief can stop you because you'll have these moments where you'll think that you're going to fail and then you just want to. Now the technique I teach like my clients is, it's called the stop technique. You stop every negative thought that comes into your head, and that's how you limit these beliefs from taking over you and keeping you from growth, keeping you from striving for more.
How does fear convince us to build a small, confident identity for ourselves? I'm not a public speaker. I'm not a good with people. And how do we begin to dismantle those walls?
I mean, it all begins on where you started these. I mean, it could have been when you were young, it could have been like during the time you were just in the womb, like it could be passed down genealogically. There's so many narratives and ideas that could have like came about. Like This could be like something that your family's always done with you too. Like it's just removing yourself from that type of programming and understanding that you can unconsciously take those thoughts away just by clearing your mind with the right exercises and the right coaching. With coaching and with the right exercises, people can start to heal themselves from within. They don't have to worry about pharmaceuticals. They don't have to worry about numbing themselves with alcohol or drugs. It's when you start, like I said, it's all about love. When you love yourself from within, like you can defeat any obstacle or defeat any challenge or obstacle that's placed in your way because your love is going to push you through everything. So the fear is mainly just a reminder that you're on the right track. And when we fear, when we push past the fear, because it's false evidence appearing real, we arise to something more meaningful and stronger, and our growth is substantially powerful because we are just allowing ourselves to go through. It's like what is it? My mentor would say: the bull goes through the storm, where the cow will stay still and get thrown away. But if the bull goes through, you'll go. You be that bull and go through that storm. You can accomplish anything in life.
Mr. Andrew, as a debut author, a fellow podcaster, what are your short term and long term goals?
Oh, my short-term goals right now is just to get more people get more people coaching, and long-term goal is to like help as many people as possible. Like I don't really see numbers, I just see people getting healed. That's all. The main thing is just healing more people and getting them, showing them actually that they can grow and they can achieve all these wonderful things in life. It just, it's like an easy button. Once you learn to run your body unconsciously, sky's the limit. You can do anything you want to, or you can do anything you focus on.
Sky is the limit for sure. And good luck to your goals, Mr. Andrew, and looking forward for more success. And what would be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
Well, it's not about being like me, it's about being like you, and it's about owning who you are and realize that life is happening for you. It's not happening against you. And that every obstacle that's in your way, when you push through that obstacle, there's something beautiful at the end of it. There's never something dark waiting for you when you push through your fear, because you're standing up to it and you're showing that you're strong. You're showing that you're grateful. You're showing you're powerful. You're showing you're empowered. That's the only thing that matters, is your growth. And once you realize that your growth is the number one key to success, like I said, the sky is the limit. And even then, you can go higher than the sky if you want to, too. It's up to you. I believe in each and every one of you. If I can do it, you can do it.
Definitely. And stop procrastinating. People, stop procrastinating. And thank you for that advice, Mr. Andrew. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Oh, I could recommend the book Complete Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. Like, epic, like, wonderful book. It'll show you, like, that there are two types of emotions in the world. It'll even show you, like, how, like, God wants us to be evolved. He wants us to, like, learn to love one another and stop this division and stop, like, fighting with one another and actually learn to coexist with each other.
Thank you for that recommended book, Mr. Andrew. And where does self compassion fit into this battle? Is it a
Uh,
weapon, a shield, or field hospital for the wounds we incur?
I think it's really like self-compassion is just, it's just your identity, really. It's who you are. It's what you understand about yourself, and that you really have to have self-compassion, because when you have self-compassion, then you have self-compassion for others. If you love yourself unconditionally, you can love anyone unconditionally. This is the one thing that I didn't learn before I got into relationships. I had to love myself before I can love another, because we don't love ourselves. If we did, we wouldn't be fighting, we wouldn't be angry. And even when we fight, we aren't aware that why we're fighting. We just fight to fight. We don't actually know why we're fighting. But when you actually become aware of why you're fighting, you want to change, you want to communicate, you want to understand this, you want to go from within and find out why this is happening to you and what started this.
What is the biggest mistake people make when they try to battle their fear, and what should they do instead?
Well, it's not about battling, it's more about embodying. I mean, if you try to battle your fear is always going to win, because it's not about battling. You're not trying to go against the current, you're trying to go with the current. So when you go against it, you're going to end up just making yourself ill. You're going to end up making yourself sad, depressed. And like, if you just go with it and understand why you're feeling this way, and maybe even journal it or write it down, like, what made me feel this way and why, and start to talk to yourself, like, start to understand that you are your own worst enemy. And until you actually realize that, you're going to keep continually falling down the same path that you have been. And once you realize and stop being stubborn and not want to die to be right, and you want to be loved, healthy, and wealthy, then life gets so much easier. It's just about letting go and just realizing that you're the problem.
Healthy and wealthy indeed. Was there a specific defining moment in your own life where you clearly identified and had to confront your own enemy within? What do you learn from that confrontation?
Oh, I learned a lot. Like, I learned that I was my biggest problem. The reason I got into arguments with my past relationship was because of me. I mean, I was so like, I couldn't take respective criticism. I couldn't take advice from others, because I automatically thought it was like a personal attack. Like someone was just trying to get me, trying to belittle me, trying to insult me. But that was part of the trauma that I embodied, and I let it control me. And my ego was the one trying to protect me. And because of that, I got into so many arguments. My health was deteriorating. I was drinking. I was smoking drugs. I was smoking cigarettes. And like I said, when my mom passed away, it was something inside of me just said, enough's enough. And that was the first time I made my holistic healing appointment. And I got introduced to Dolores Cannon, and I started to read Dolores's books, and it brought me to meditation. It brought me to yoga. It brought me to Tai Chi. It brought me away from drugs. It brought me away from alcohol. It brought me away from cigarettes. I wanted to eat healthier. I wanted to clear my mind, clear my body, because my soul asked for it. It wanted to be cleansed. So I did it. And then once I started to do that, that was when I started to realize that my trauma was actually pushing me in a direction that meant to be self compassionate for others and to help others understand themselves from within.
Mr. Andrew, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my Abstract Essay is already in fifth season. Abstract Poetry in second season. And my Book 101 Review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in second season. And my Food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 in fourth season. And my Baby Podcast Law 101 and Mental Health 1 in second season. And Love Letters in its fourth season, as well as my Movie 101 Review and Music 101. Science 101 and Sex 101 in second season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Andrew, is the goal to ultimately eliminate the enemy within, or is it achieve a state of enlightened coexistence when fear is present but no longer holds the power to command your life?
It no longer controls the power to, or no longer commands to control the power of your life, because fear is actually a good thing. And when you learn to understand your fear, well, you can do anything with life, because when you're uncomfortable and you get comfortable with it, you can push through anything. So it's just learning to love your fear, because your fear is pushing you in a direction you may not want to go, but at the end, there's always something better. I mean, it brought me my book, it brought me a podcast, it brought me a practice, coaching. It got me to clean up my health. It got me to clean up the person who I used to be to the person who I am. And because of that, I'm a better version of myself. And I continue to grow each day, and I strive for more. Like, people want to retire. I want to keep going. I want to keep growing. I want to keep evolving. It's about the journey for me.
Totally the journey itself. And thank you for sharing your journey to the world, Mr. Andrew Wilson. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your book, your advocacy, your podcast, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
I appreciate that.
So, where do people can buy your book, Mr. Andrew?
You can buy them on Amazon. That's where it's on sale.
Yes. And how about the podcast?
Podcasts you can find on Spotify, you can find on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Amazon.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Andrew Wilson, because if you support him for sure, more and more empowering of the episodes of the podcast itself, more and more empowering books like this to come. So, Mr. Andrew, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me, Daniel. It's been a pleasure.
Likewise, more to come, people. See you soon.